For 99% of creators, views alone won't pay your bills. In today's economy, the YouTube game has fundamentally changed. While millions chase viral moments and subscriber counts, most will never turn those vanity metrics into actual income. The algorithm shifts, ad rates fluctuate, and suddenly that video with hundreds of thousands of views barely covers your coffee budget. I've personally worked with creators who hit millions of views but can't afford to pay their rent, and other creators that are making 6 and 7 figures a year with modest view counts. What's the difference? These high-earning creators understand the YouTube business bridge. And in today's episode of the Think Media Podcast, I'm going to be sharing the 3-part framework for how to actually make big money on YouTube, even if you have a small view count. You'll learn why a lot of top creators actually don't chase viral fame and what they focus on instead. Plus, how to position your channel for sustainable success, even when your view count is down. Let's get started.
Let's dive into session number 1. We have such cool stuff coming up. There's going to be a lot of business breakthroughs, a lot of opportunity for Q&A, breaking things down on the whiteboard, but there's going to be some foundational sessions. And I do want to kick it off with our first session that'll kind of tie a theme of our whole 1.5 days together and talk about the YouTube business bridge, the strategic path to impact and profit. And, if you've been a part of our program, VRA and VRA Accelerator, then you'll be familiar with our system. I know we have some new people. Thank you for just jumping into the event. And, one of our favorite quotes is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And we're going to be talking about our 7-step system all event, always going back to the 7R system. And today, though, specifically, we're going to be talking about a specific framework for this room. And it's the YouTube Bridge Framework, Views, Leads, and Sales. We're going to identify your biggest opportunities, fix your weakest links, and then map your next 5 to 10 priority actions. So in this session, that's what we're going to want to do. And then after a session like this, you'll be maybe taking some notes, making some notes. There'll be some discussion and a chance to really process. And what we're asking ourselves kind of all event is, hey, what do I need to fix next? Not just what is all the things to do. There's so much opportunity on YouTube, shorts, all these different things, but what is the next most strategic move for me and my business? But as we dive into, this session, I think about there is so much opportunity on YouTube right now, but there's also some specific challenges and specific challenges in online business in general and social media in general. If we did this survey a while back, and we asked people, what's happening on your channel? 26% of people were saying my views were down. Some 17% saying my views were up. 20% saying about the same. And then some people haven't started. And so we are seeing a few challenges happening. There is organic reach decline. We're going to be able to overcome every single one of these challenges, but it's true. Sometimes YouTube isn't there's more competition. Views are more distributed across channels. Economic challenges, content overload. Figuring out how to stand out is more important than ever before because there's more stuff to watch than ever before, more creators than ever before. Engagement shifts where people's attention is. Technology shifts, AI coming in, and all these different things. And so Gary Vaynerchuk at our last summit actually said that the current landscape of social media requires more rigor. And over the next couple days, we're going to get really geeky. Like, what does rigor mean? It means like more attention to detail on titles and thumbnails, more attention to detail in our scripting, more thoughtful about our strategy, more work being put into things. Can we overcome challenges? We absolutely can. But it's like it used to work if you played just checkers on YouTube. Now we got to be playing chess, more strategy, more thoughtful about what are our next moves, what is our sequencing going to be. And so the biggest mistake 99% of people make on YouTube that I see when it comes to the fact that the algorithm can be up and down and views can be up and down is actually chasing views. Now, I know that all of us are here for views. Like, how do we get the most views? How do we go viral? How do we do those things? But I think that if we are fixed on views only, we're always going to have a roller coaster life on YouTube, or that ultimately we can stay stuck on YouTube. What I've learned and what we're going to be talking about over these days is that clients are better than clicks. Like, at the end of the day, getting views or getting someone even to click on a link, it's one thing, but actually getting a client, like somebody joining your business, your offer, your program. And you might say, Sean, I don't have any of that yet. But more than clicks, I want to get clients. Like, let's get real business happening. In fact, if I don't get a lot of views, but I get a client, then I'm going to be way happier with a client than with views. Quality is better than crowds. There is a temptation to want to get the biggest numbers possible. I was talking with one of our mastermind attendees right before the session, and he made a pivot in his content from something that was a little bit more broad appeal that got a lot of views. And it's natural that the views would go down if you get something that's going to attract a different audience. But the question is, do we want to reach the crowds, or do we want a quality community, quality customers, a quality group that we're building? Like, what ultimately are we building? Customers are greater than clout. Now, again, these maybe aren't everybody's philosophy, but this would be the philosophy we want to lay as a foundation. Do we just want kind of a following? One of my favorite quotes is, leaders create other leaders. They don't create more followers. Like, what's our goal? I mean, do we just want to reach the masses? Well, then at least we know our strategy. Or do we want to reach customers or a deep community? In fact, faithful fans are greater than fleeting fame. If you made it in the room, you're familiar with the 1,000 true fans concept. You get a real ride or die group of people that are following you, not just subscribers, but people that really love you, want to do business with you. You get the right people in a small community following you. Seth Godin talks about this concept of what is the smallest viable audience for your business. It's worth thinking about. Like, what's actually the minimum number of customers for the offer I would create that would give me a business that's sustainable, so that from there I could build whatever I feel called to build next. Because everyone's chasing the fame or the clout or the crowds or the clicks, when if we have some ride or dies and quality and customers and faithful fans. And so to do this, we're going to be working through a framework called the YouTube Bridge Framework. And where we can sometimes find ourselves is alone on an island without clothing, like Castaway, Tom Hanks, of like, man, no subscribers, or like, trying to get views, trying to make things work. And we're going to be going through a process of how to get to not just ultimately YouTube growth, but money for the mission. Like, a sustainable business is why we're in this room. Yes, we'll talk about views, and we are always coming from a purpose-driven place, but at the end of the day, your purpose is going to die out real quick if you don't have the finances to fund it. And so what we would call this would be the YouTube Bridge Framework. And what I like to think about here is, again, where are you right now? And think about that for yourself personally. Where are you in your business? Where's your channel? What's just the current state of things? Good leadership I heard from, I think Jim Rohn talked about, or actually be a Napoleon Hill thing. It says, success starts with accurate thinking and an assessment of like, really, where are you? Where are you right now? What's the situation in your business? Where are you right now? And then, where do you want to go? That's what do you need? If you could get from here to here, what's the amount of monthly revenue that you need in your business? And you could go full time. I had a few conversations with individuals here at the Mastermind. I'm working full time right now. I want to be able to live this online dream, build my online business, and do it full time. Well, how much is that going to cost? And then what's the impact that you want to make? Where are you and where do you want to go? Well, the 3 steps that are in the YouTube framework are this. Number 1, views. So over the next couple days, we're going to be talking about, okay, how do we get views on YouTube, and how do we get the right views? In online marketing, you call this traffic. Like, if nobody knows you, the next step's not going to help. And we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but of course it comes back, and we'll have sessions on like, how do we get more views on our channel? even subscribers, I don't even want subscribers, but like, you might even notice, Think Media is over 3 million subscribers now. Older channels that have gotten subscribers over many, many years, people have subscribed to your channel, but they don't even log into YouTube anymore. So subscribers are great, but you actually need present views right now from the right people. So we're going to need views. The next thing we're going to need, if we're going to complete the bridge across from where you are to where you want to go, is going to be leads. Leads. We have to translate people from watching our content to building our owned audience. Is anybody here building an email list? Raise your hand. So 20% of the room, you're thinking about this. You're building a newsletter. You're building an email list. Now, sometimes that is the overemphasized way of doing it, and I think that's what we should be doing. I think it's email marketing, and email is so important. But when I say leads, it might be that you're getting phone numbers. It might be that you're building a Facebook group. It might be that you're building a Discord. The bottom line is that algorithms can be fickle, and we need to be able to build our audience off platform, which then the next thing we need to generate would be sales. That we translate in this whole process, how are you going from YouTube into a sales process to some sort of offer that you have? Now, there might be some open questions we have, like, well, I don't have an offer yet, or I don't even know if that's right for my business. Well, there's all kinds of business models on YouTube, brand deals, ad revenue, affiliates, and we could touch on all of those. But it would be my deep conviction that we need to, at some point, create our own offer and productize in some way that we would have a sustainable business so that we can weather any storm on YouTube. We want to be unbreakable. I think we could be recession-proof. And in doing so, we're going to need views, leads, and sales to do so. But here's where the challenge comes with the YouTube Bridge framework and what I've learned personally in my life, and really that's probably been the mistake I've made over and over and over again, is when I find myself on this island over here, I'm dreaming big. I'm kind of unhappy because I'm not where I want to be yet, but I've got big dreams. I got big ideas. I want to do this over here, and I'm thinking about my YouTube channel. When I find myself on this island, I find that the biggest thing that can happen for me is getting distracted and starting to chase shiny objects. And so, who here has a lead magnet or something like that? You have an idea for building it. That'd be like a free ebook or a checklist or something like that, but it's not done. Anybody? You got a couple that are not done. So what's your lead magnet?
Just an ebook.
You're gonna do an ebook.
Yeah,
You want to do an ebook. Have you started it?
framework.
You started kind of a framework. So what happened? Okay, so I can relate to that, and I've done the same thing. I think back when I started getting a vision for doing YouTube. For me, I was mainly focused on YouTube and views, which is where a lot of people focus. It's a great place to be, right? We all want the views. And we might know we need these other things, and you mentioned ebook, and so we might start building. You kind of build a little bridge here, and but it's not done, so it's kind of just out there. And we got an ebook, which would be our lead thing. Okay, how about who here is building out an offer of some kind? You're building an online course. Raise your hand. It's not done. Keep your hand raised. Awesome. And of course, we're going to be in process, so I'm not like trying to shame anybody. We're all in the same boat here, right? But it's like, okay, so then we also have like this over here, but it's kind of, is your online course, does it look like this? There's like missing pieces of concrete. It's really sketchy, and it's just out there. So, okay, you got your course. Who here is trying to grow multiple social media platforms at once? Raise your hand. You're trying to grow multiple social media platforms, not just YouTube. All right, yeah, I'm the same. So some of us, then we're trying to get views, but it's not just YouTube views. right? But we got, you see somebody on Instagram, you're like, man, Instagram would be a great place to get leads, and it is. But we start trying to do Instagram. And so we got that going. What else would you say, different things maybe you've been working on? Anybody have shiny object syndrome? Stuff that's like kind of half-done projects? Yeah, you raised your hand. What is there anything that you've been working on? Maybe you're doing a couple different things. You're working on your website, YouTube channel, lead magnet, course. Yes, she says, yes. Okay. So are you seeing what I'm talking about here? So now we're kind of trying to build a website, which is also, that kind of be like a place to capture our views or our leads and our sales. We got our website. Is anybody seeing the problem? And can anybody relate? We've got like this idea of, okay, I'm here, and I want to get to this goal of having like not just some income, but sustainable income. I want to get over here, but I'm trying to do all these different bridges, and none of them are complete. And the really sad part about it is that sometimes it's like you start doing Instagram for a while, or even you do YouTube for a while, right? And so people start coming into your world and they're pumped. They're driving, they're like on this destination with you. But what's about to happen? Yeah. Psh. People are drowning. You're like, wow, that got dark. Like, geez. So, and even on YouTube though, because who here, you do have a lead magnet, you have like a landing page set up, but you would be honest and you're willing to raise your hand and say, Sean, when I think about it, I know that it sucks. It's really bad. Raise my. Yeah, your landing page sucks. You could write that, right? Okay, exactly. So you got the views, but they get here, and then sure enough, maybe a few people make it through, but couple hundred, couple thousand views. But how many deaths on that journey? And if you've got the leads and they make it through your landing page and they download your thing, how many people got stuck in junk mail? How many people got stuck in spam? How many people didn't even find the thing? All right, they make it to your offer, like your checkout page, the experience with purchasing your offer. If they even really, is your offer really dialed in? Is it really irresistible and aligned to your audience? Is it actually aligned with one YouTube bridge, or is it is it such a perilous, snaky ride through here that like the amount of people, you could have 1,000 start here, you could have 1,000,000 start here, but the amount of people that make it here, there's only a few stragglers. There's so much dangers and peril on the bridge that their cars all beat up by the time they make there, right? Because our thing's kind of broken, our checkout process isn't working. So our goal here at this particular 1.5 days is to work on this entire process. And then for your business to think about getting, honestly, one bridge built. And here's what I've learned. That even if you've got one right now, and that would be that who here, full participation, you're creating content, you have a way to capture leads and bring them into a sales process, and your sales process is actually working, and like the Stripe money is coming through or PayPal money is coming through, raise your hand, the whole process does work. Awesome. So, by the way, look around with some of the people you're meeting here as well, because iron sharpens iron. Like, what do you use? What's your software? How does this stuff work? Because once you get this thing duct taped together for the first time ever, that's a huge feat. But what I've also learned is that even once it's put together, sometimes the temptation is to move on to something else, when ultimately going back and improving it, maybe reinforce the structure to handle more traffic, more people. How can I improve that part of the process? And oftentimes, what we think is the broken thing, I just need more subscribers, I need more views, I need a bigger channel, may not actually be our biggest issue. It's these other pieces of the bridge that often are the struggle point.
Are you a business owner or serious content creator that is struggling to crack the YouTube code? Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated with slow growth? If so, then our new one-on-one coaching program at viralvideocoach.com is your premier ticket to YouTube success. Becoming the authority in your niche, attracting engaged leads and loyal customers. We offer one-to-one coaching with our YouTube experts that'll help you get results fast and a supportive community that's cheering you on. So if you're ready to stop wasting time with trial and error and to stop leaving money on the table, then head to viralvideocoach.com to apply to see if you qualify for our coaching program. But heads up, this offer is not for everybody. It's only for serious content creators and entrepreneurs that are ready to take action. So if that's you, head to viralvideocoach.com to apply or click the link in the show notes. All right, let's jump back into the episode.
And so here's a couple of steps as we break this down to of what we just talked about and what we're reviewing. Step one is get the right views. Get the right views. If we think about it, someone's over here on, or we're here trying to get over to prosperity in our business and impact in our business, and we start getting a lot of views, and people make it onto the bridge across to the other island, only to realize that they're on the wrong bridge. Man, you can't turn around until you get to the other side, like, oh, I'm distracted. You ever done, I've done that. I just think about, like, I missed that turn, when you miss that critical turn, and now it's 20, 25 minutes. And so just getting views is what everybody's obsessed with, but we want to get the right views. And that's why when we start with our 7R framework, it's always reverse engineer first. It's start with the end in mind of who would be the right audience to attract for this whole bridge to work together. So here's a cool AI trick for getting the right views. Number one, who is your client? Number two, what are their problems and desires? And then what we want to do is just run that into AI to think about who could we attract, what content would we create to get the right views? Okay, so one volunteer. Yeah. Shout your name out. Joe. And your channel? The Married Life. And are you doing the leads and sales thing yet? Yeah. What is the offer, Joe?
I'm doing, for views, we have 4 different free PDFs they can get. We have a free sex conversation starter, date night questions, 52 date night.
Did you say sex? Okay. I have to write that on the board? Okay, so you got 4 PDFs, sex. What else?
Date night questions.
What kind of channel is this? No, just kidding. Date night, okay.
52 date night ideas.
Okay.
And then 3 T's of communication.
Okay, so we got 3 T's of comms, 52 date night ideas. Which one's the best one? Yeah, by far. All right. Man, Think Media Mastermind just got 0 to 100 real quick. Okay, so, and they all work? People download them?
Yeah.
And then where's it go?
So we use that for Kit, and so we get all the leads into Kit, and from there we obviously gather their data to be able to email them and let them know about future events or products.
And what is the offer? What is the sales?
So that's where we are not at that yet. We have a course, but we haven't put it out on Samcar or Circle yet.
Okay, so you've got the views and you've got the leads, but then just a bunch of people are drowning and just carnage everywhere. Their sex lives are terrible. Well, and their marriages are, like, people are being harmed right now. I mean, I'm sort of shaming you, but it's like, if we actually think about the impact and the difference we're making, I think there's something about feeling, of course you do, that's why you're here, but like the ethical responsibility of completing your bridge. Because it's like, how long have people been able to download your free stuff and get on your newsletter? How long have you been building that? 4 months. How often do you email people? Weekly. Okay, so you've been nurturing people. So they're getting help. They're okay.
So weekly we send out our YouTube video that goes out. So we send out 2 videos a week, and then I also take that, put it in AI, and make it into a blog. So it's like bullet point.
Great. Who here is building your email list? Raise your hand. But you're not emailing them and you haven't emailed them in a long time. Keep your hand up. Yeah, look at us, right? This is I am you. Like this has been what I'm in. I'm like, I know I need to build an email list. I'm building how many people on your list? 754. When's the last time you emailed them? I don't know. Haven't. Just cars, just everywhere, right? It's like you have the leads, but there's no guardrails, people driving off. Okay, so this is great. And building out the pieces of the bridge, this idea of getting the right views, let's just dive in here real quick to AI along with, and we'll be doing this throughout. Who here is using AI already to start brainstorming and stuff? We're going to be doing prompts the whole time. I think AI has changed the game for video creation. I'm using Claude here. We'll be using ChatGPT, Gemini. I like Claude. And we're going to be talking about getting the right views for we have one other question. What will the offer be? What's the course?
It's called the Blueprints of Marriage. And so it's like taking people on kind of like 10 steps that every marriage is going to like struggle with and deal with, whether it is communication, whether it's sex, whether it's forgiveness, whether it's finances, all those different areas.
How much?
I don't know yet.
And then target audience.
Our target audience is age 25 to 50, and they're obviously married. Christian couples, because it's Christian-based content.
And then what else is probably true about them that's unique to you from like a psychographic standpoint?
They want to strengthen their marriage. It's not necessarily people that are on the brink of divorce, but they're learned, like kind of like this. I want to get better. I just don't know what to do. And so people that are actually wanting to develop themselves.
Okay. So, great. All right. So we're trying to get the right views, and all of these questions are really powerful to feed into AI for coming up with video topics and ideas. So let's go for it. Hey, Claude. So I want to come up with a list of video ideas and topics. I have a channel that is targeting really 25 to 50-year-olds. They're married Christian couples. They're not necessarily on the brink of divorce, but they want to strengthen their marriage. They might be having some relationship issues. And ultimately, I want a lot of good topic ideas, but eventually I'm going to offer a free gift, which will help people with their sex life in marriage. And eventually, I'm going to offer a Blueprints of Marriage course. So I want to attract serious couples, and I'm looking for some 10 topics that would be broad appeal on YouTube to attract this group. All right, so we're going to start with get the right views, which is going to start with topics, and then we'll dial into title, and we'll go a little bit deeper in session 2. Communication secrets that transformed our marriage. Finding time for connection when life gets busy. Let me know which one of these you like the most. And I know you're already creating content, so you've probably created a lot of these. Faith-centered marriage, resolving conflict without damaging a relationship, rekindling romance after years together, resolving conflict without damaging your relationship. Yeah. Why? Resonates because you could talk about it? You think that's what they need? Okay. All right, so can you come up with 10 title ideas for number 4? I want to do resolving conflict, and I want the title to be SEO based, but also to be highly clickable, as broad as appeal as possible, but I do want to Again, attract the specific audience I want to reach as described in the previous prompt. All right, 5 conflict resolution techniques that saved our marriage. Stop fighting, start talking, a biblical approach to marriage conflicts. Let me know which one you like best. How to resolve any marriage argument in 15 minutes. That's pretty cool. That one's really good. All right, we could stop there. Was that helpful? Any insights on that process? Is that kind of how you've been using AI, or is that kind of a...
Yes and no. I got to get better at using it for coming up with the titles. But I have, like, again, just to your point, using AI of like, hey, what are the top 10 things or 15 things that married couples struggle with? I want to break this down into, these conversations. But what we've seen, and Alex has done such great coaching us on this, even when I get ideas or Chrissy gets ideas or AI gives us ideas, the views that we get the most always have to do with sex.
Yeah.
It's like, and you've said that, sex sells. So it's like people want that. Because we'll put out stuff that I think is really strong for 15 minutes, how to like dissolve, what is that answer? Where some people are like, I want to have better sex,
Yep.
Or I want her to engage in sex. I don't want to always be the one. And so, like, because we've had that conversation where she's like, I feel like we talk about sex too much. But Alex is great because he's like, but if this is what's getting the momentum for growth, you can still add in the other things, but maybe you are known more for that one.
Sure. Well, and absolutely. And again, the big key here as we keep going is all of us in this room, we need to know our ideal client. And did you hear like their level of knowledge of their ideal client? Very good. There's greater depths that we can always go to. And what's cool about AI is the better information we feed into it, the better unique insights that we could get to find fresh perspectives and angles on what videos we could create. So that's going to be foundational, because if we're going to get the right views, and I know I'm just kind of verbally saying this, some of us are familiar with the 7R framework, but the first 2 R's in our 7R framework are reverse engineer, who's our ideal client, what are their problems and desires, and then research, getting fierce clarity, because again, if this is right, but these are wrong, or we get a lot of people here, then it breaks down. But then also, right, as we go further, if there's no ultimate sales, you might say, man, we'd love to be making more money right now from our YouTube channel. Well, I'd probably point out one of the biggest problems would be a lack of an actual offer, because if you just complete that bridge, we're going to make it all the way across. I saw the hand.
I have a question about your opinion. So if he uses a title like that, and at the end says to have better sex.
Yeah.
At what point does that become too redundant, using the same finish line? What's your opinion?
Yeah, so the question was, if he uses a title like the one that we used here and then just adds to have better sex at the end, I think that would be unnecessary. That would be fluff, in my opinion. You just have the chance, like I think a mindset shift would be get comfortable with creating videos, create a lot of videos, and commit and have endless content ideas and always be ranking them by the next one you should make. But we teach in VRA like one keyword phrase, one topic idea, one video. So don't try to force things together. Sometimes you might be like, oh, I kind of want to say 3 things in this video. Let me try to force it all in the title. Make 3 videos. Does that make sense? So if it's about sex, I'd go all in on that, but I wouldn't just try to, if you could spice it up and it's true, but it is interesting to say how to resolve any marriage argument in 15 minutes, a Christian perspective. Now, it would be potentially, it would be much broader appeal to not say a Christian perspective. This is an interesting point, because you might get more views, and that wouldn't be a bad thing, but if you know that eventually you're going to be selling a course to Christians, calling out your audience is a good thing. But it's discipline to actually sort of be saying, I'm going to get less views. If you're telling the algorithm who to show this to, and thus clarity of the YouTube bridge framework is critical. You may be realizing I'm not chasing virality, I'm chasing the right views as principle number 1. Okay, so step 2, get leads from your videos. So one of the commitments I want all of us to make is to create your first lead magnet. What's a lead magnet? There's terms for it: freebies, giveaways. It is essentially free premium value, and it should be that. You should give away free valuable content on YouTube. That's what YouTube is. And then you should give even more valuable free content off of YouTube. Now, on screen is a list of possible lead magnet ideas. And this could be an ebook, a checklist, a white paper, a webinar, like a free web class. Chances are you've watched one of my web classes. A challenge is technically a lead magnet. 5 days, it's a lot of work. A calculator could be a lead magnet. It's anything you're giving in exchange for somebody's information. But the challenge that so number 1, I want you to create your first lead magnet. And while here, by the end of this event, identify what would be the best lead magnet for the bridge I'm trying to create. My second challenge to you is that if you already have one, I want you to assess if it's good or if it needs to be fixed. We're constantly asking ourselves, what do I need to fix next in my business? Does it need to be fixed or improved? My next challenge to you is if you have 4 or 13, like a lot of us might have, which should be eliminated or ignored. It's not a badge of honor to be like, I've got so much stuff going on. In some cases, it might be identifying what you should say no to. One of the things early on is I just kept adding, and this was my bridge problem. I'm working on writing an ebook that I want to give away free, and I'm working on a free mini course and a free 4 video series, and I've put out a lot of mediocre efforts and incomplete bridges, but I haven't completed something and done it at a world-class level. So even with your coach, and over the next day and a half, we could be pulling up landing pages, looking at them, having somebody here go through it. Hey, yeah, let me try it. Hey, can you try to go through my process? They enter their name and email, and nothing happens. I used to work at a place called Red Robin. It's a burger joint. They have free bottomless fries. And things would happen. One of our greatest fears as a server and as a waiter of tables is that one day we might get secret shopped. And then we'd be talking to other servers. They'd be like, do you think that's a secret shop, or do you think they're asking you questions or seeing, did you offer them a refill? Did you offer them any upsells, dessert, all the stuff? Did you hit it all? So the powerful thing with secret shopping, though, is when was the last time you secret shopped yourself? And so our own bridges is like, yeah, I kind of got my landing page set up and, doesn't really work on mobile. And how's the email deliverability? Is there certain words in your emails that trigger things? Like, we're here to coach you through this whole thing, but what I have found is that getting this whole bridge complete, working, and then considering this, that maybe it's time for expansion. There's so much traffic that's trying to get to the island. Let's add 2 more lanes. Let's do a construction project. Yet the temptation could be to try to build the next bridge instead of improving the one that we're on. And so we want to get leads from our videos and figure out, where are we sending people? And again, we got some real estate agents in the room. If that means like, hey, shoot me a text. I just spoke for the CEO Summit at Keller Williams this past Monday. And in my opinion, as a real estate agent, what would I want most? I think I just want the person to text me, because that's where the business is happening. Get their email, cool, that's fine. But I want them, I want to text me right now and let's start talking. We engage in text. Maybe DM, but here's a good question. What is the least friction path to make it through your bridge? There's sometimes things that we do that we didn't even realize. We're like, I just don't know why why we aren't getting sales. And there's like a blockade, right? There's like literally blocks that have been set up because we've created friction of some kind, that it's like enter your email and go to the page, but the page is broken, which is, again, we try to fix those things. But like, how can I just make this as streamlined and as smooth as possible? Which brings us to step 3, which would be generate sales. Now, over the next couple of days, when you do affiliate marketing, you don't even need leads. If you can get really good at views with good calls to action and integration, it goes straight to sales. You can just compress the process. Problem with like affiliate marketing though, which has been a big piece of my story, is on Amazon, I get like 4%. When I created my own offer, especially a digital product, I get like 97%. It's better. I mean, I wasn't good at math, but like 97 is better than 4. And so what is your irresistible offer? And how does your sales process work? What is your irresistible offer? And how does your sales process work? This is a challenging one because just because we actually have the bridge completed, sometimes it's good to evaluate and actually say, does this need a total renovation? Does this just need some paint and some touch up, or does this need a total renovation? What part is actually maybe broken in this process? And so when we say, what do I need to fix next? It's like, maybe I actually need to fix who's my target audience, what's my vision, what am I actually building here? Maybe I need to really master the getting of views. But again, if I'm getting a lot of views, I don't know where they're going. Maybe I am getting people really interested in my lead magnet and wanting to improve their romantic life. And okay, so let me really dial in this offer. And what would be the best name? And what are people wanting? And could I send, how many people on the email list? Approximately.
Actually,
300. Two ideas I would do. Number one, have you surveyed them? So could I, when I'm at the lead stage, survey and ask to get data about the exact things, problems they have in their marriage, things they would want, areas they want help, and the style they would want help in? Have AI be like, hey, I want to survey my 300 people. This is who they are. I want to create a course. What questions could I ask? I don't want it to be very long. Let's do it. Survey so that this will be a way to fix and improve or build for the first time. So I want to send a survey to my 300 people that are on my email list. They've downloaded our How to Improve Your Sex Life and Marriage and their romantic life, date night ideas, things like that. But eventually I want to sell an online course. It may be called Blueprints of Marriage, but I'm not committed to that name because I want the best name possible. Now, again, my audience is 25 to 50-year-old married Christians, and I've got the 300 on the list. Can you just lay out a quick survey that I could send them? And I don't want it to be overwhelming, so it's not completed. So can you just, based on data, give me the best length of questions that I actually get the highest response rate that would give me the insights that would help me produce the best digital product possible and give me language that I could use in marketing? And with tools like Typeform, you can get this up and running in like 10 minutes and email your people before lunch. And this would be multiple choice. What's your biggest challenge in marriage right now? Select 2. Communication issues. This data is going to be powerful for all kinds of stuff. And then if you could improve one aspect of your marriage immediately, what would it be? Which format would you prefer for marriage improvement content? Video lessons, audio, interactive modules, text-based, live group coaching? What would make you most likely to invest in a marriage course? Which of these potential course names appeals to you? A couple different names. What price range would you consider reasonable for a comprehensive marriage course? Any other thoughts on what would make this course valuable to you? 7 questions only. Sweet spot, typically yield 83 to 89% completion rates. Mix of multiple choice. Tells you exactly how to do it. Type that in. You could send that and tell us the results tomorrow at the mastermind. Powerful? Here's the second thing I would do. I would do a free Zoom call with anybody that wants to show up. When I was creating VRA, I one of the first things I did pre-creating an offer was I developed a framework. The 7R framework wasn't pretty yet. It didn't, it was on paper. It wasn't even visual yet, but I wanted to test it with people. And so what I did was I DM'd people one by one and actually asked if I could do free coaching with them. Would you be willing to take your time to do free coaching with me? I know you want to do YouTube to see if my stuff works. In exchange, if it works and you're willing, for a video testimonial before I even started. So if you got on Zoom, built some relationships, you're starting to create a beta group immediately. But if you also record those calls, the way they say things, the words they use could all be put into your marketing. Pretty powerful. And so what is your irresistible offer? Some of what we just talked about there is how we could be workshopping our irresistible offer. Or you might be thinking right now, like, I do have an offer, but I don't know if it's that irresistible. I mean, again, like it's like a wooden, bridge from an Indiana Jones movie from the Leeds over to the island. Like, I don't know if anyone's even gonna make it across that thing compared to what it could be by improving the offer, refining the offer, thinking about what it is, dialing in price, things to tweak, and then how does your sales process work? And then how fluid is that entire experience? And so this is the YouTube Bridge framework. And there is really trying to make it as simple as possible, but I think you see that it's really just three things. It's views, leads, and sales. And my challenge to you is to get one bridge, one working, and to go back to that bridge and get it improved before expanding, because I think there's a lot of power in that. As we get ready to transition, I'm reminded of the story of Steve Jobs when he came back to Apple in 1997. And by this time, with his absence, they had gotten to a place where they just had added like hundreds of different product lines. And so the company had become really complex and all these different things that were happening. And he was famous. He came in for slashing it down to like 4 products, just cutting everywhere. And it really made me think of the YouTube Bridge framework. Like, obviously at that time, Apple was already generating millions. They had a big business. But I have fallen into the same trap at the beginning of my business, in the middle, and I still fall into the same trap today. Like all the way back in 2014, my wife and I were living in Irvine, California, in an apartment right by Irvine Spectrum. And I was a campus pastor at a church at the time, but I wanted to start building out side income. One reason was because my salary at the church was about $72,000, and because I opted out of Social Security and got a housing allowance as a pastor clergy, they said it was an equivalent of 80, whatever that means. And so cost of living to live comfortably in Irvine, California is about $125, they say, is what's needed to live there. So my motivation for side hustle was just to like keep us at like a water level and try to rise beyond that for our finances. And so at this time, I'm making YouTube videos, and I had money coming in from affiliate marketing. I had money coming in from ad revenue, but it's like 50 and 100, and I do some freelance projects, and I love that stuff. Like, I know that if you made it into this room, you're an ambitious, you've probably done a lot of things, different side hustles, you've done all that kind of stuff. It's all helpful because it's learning, but it's random, right? And what I did not have is I did not have the views, lead, sales thing. Well, from the power of investing in mentorship, which you already know is the most powerful thing you can invest in. And at this time, I discovered someone named Chalene Johnson, and she started talking about even the power of building an email list. And I was like, maybe I should do that. So I remember I was like, I need a lead magnet. And I had written one random chapter for my friend Phil Cook for his book about social media. So at least it was fast. I was like, well, I already wrote something, and there was no AI in these days, right? So I like saved it as a PDF and like put it up on a page, but it was terrible. Like it was so bad. I mean, it had like nothing. And so I was making some videos, and I was kind of sending it to that lead magnet. I did another thing called YouTube for Churches, It's actually a good idea, but put out some videos, but it didn't really go anywhere. I remember I did give away a free video series, and maybe it actually did go somewhere. I wrote an ebook, and the ebook was $7. And so by sending people to that, it was good. It was an offer, but it wasn't an offer at a scale big enough to generate any kind of revenue, or I didn't have the next thing. And so I remember I was trying to run my Facebook page, and I was trying to run my YouTube channel, and I was building this YouTube for Churches thing, and I was building the Get Noticed thing, and all of that. And it made me think of Steve Jobs. That like even at the beginning, when I had no right to be doing 36 different things, like I was still chasing a lot of stuff. And so that was the campus pastor days. And then eventually though, that even once we got established, I think about, we started having some success. And we do launch Video Ranking Academy after I learned how to rank videos and generate a 6-figure income off YouTube and ranking videos and talking about tech as well as some other niche products. Start teaching what I know in a program that a lot of you have been through. And after a couple years into Video Ranking Academy, we added another program called Inner Circle. Kind of cool. In fact, it got to $25,000 a month. It was a membership program. Now, I'm a small town kid, college dropout. When I thought about making, if I hit 6 figures, it was the vision I had growing up in Arlington, Washington. And so when we had this $25,000 a month Inner Circle program, and that's how much money was coming in, what I started to realize, though, was that the bridges were hard to maintain, and it was actually a distraction, a $25,000 a month distraction. And sure enough, even though, again, depends on where your business is at, and that's the point of the interaction here, we sunsetted it, we shut it down, and I want to say we maybe done 1,000 or 2 units of VRA previous years up to that. The next year, we did 5,000 units of our core offer, of our one bridge. That's over $5 million in revenue of that one offer from actually shutting down the distraction. So if you're at the midpoint in your business, you already have some things going, my challenge to you is, do you need to shut down or slow down, what it is? So here's our goal. You don't need multiple bridges or dozens of offers. What is one complete bridge from views to sales that actually works? One core offer that transforms lives. One clear path that generates sustainable revenue. And you could just screenshot this. I think we've hit it pretty hard. But 12 reasons your business isn't growing. You're building half bridges everywhere. You got views, but they're not turning into business. Your lead magnet puts people to sleep. Your sales process is a maze. You're chasing viral instead of valuable. Your offer isn't irresistible. It's invisible. You keep changing direction. You're treating YouTube like a lottery ticket. You're building without a blueprint. Your bridge collapses under pressure. You're stuck in feast or famine, or your checkout process is broken. So here's your next move. And Brian, I think you can help us into discussions or whatever. But let's journal. Let's talk about it. Identify your biggest constraint. For you, what's the missing piece? What's the choke point? What's the weakest link? And if you were, I want you to keep a running list of your next priority actions. Don't overthink it. It might change, but be thinking, because you might re-rank them. When I really think about it, the thing I need to fix next is this.
So what you just listened to was a recording from one of our recent Think Media Masterminds that happens a few times each year in Las Vegas, where we get together with all of the Think Media coaches and myself to work on your YouTube channel and really your online business. And actually, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, just go to viralvideocoach.com. Those masterminds are a feature and they're a part of our Video Ranking Academy Accelerator program. And if you go to the website or click the link in the show notes, actually, you're just going to find an application there because this program isn't right for everybody. But if you're somebody who is serious about your YouTube growth and using YouTube to generate views, leads, and sales for your online business, or you're a creator and you want to figure out how to build a bigger business, you've been chasing views. You've been kind of falling into the trap of getting maybe a lot of views, but really having not a full bank account, then this program might be right for you. And all it is an application we only work with people that we're a good fit for. So if that sounds interesting to you and you'd love to learn more about our one-on-one coaching program, just go to viralvideocoach.com or click the link in the show notes. Now, if you got value out of today's episode, it means the world if you like, rate, review, or share wherever you watch or listen. Shout out to our audio family on the Think Media podcast. And if you're on YouTube, I'd love to know any questions or feedback that you have in the comment section. My name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel, and I cannot wait to connect with you in a future episode.